Hello YouTube and welcome to Andersen Air Force Base on the island of Guam on the DCS Mariana's map. We're here today to celebrate the fact that this channel recently passed the 5,000 subscriber mark, which honestly is probably more than I ever thought it would get to. When I passed the 1,000 subscriber mark, I staged my own little AI fly pass to celebrate. So when someone asked me what I was going to do to celebrate the 5,000 subscriber mark, I suggested that maybe we should stage a live fly past this time. So I put out the call, and the pilots that you will see today responded. And did they ever respond? This has gone from being a simple fly pass to a full-blown air show, folks. It had to be to show off the amazing flying that I saw while we were practicing. And as you can see, the aircraft are getting warmed up and taxied out. So I'll just quickly introduce the pilots that you will have the pleasure of seeing today. You'll meet them in more detail during the show. Yappy Dog is here, as is Draken, as is Griff Nizzle, as well as Bagger, Highland Spring, Buur, Molok 1, TT, Molok, Robert, and Frenchy. So while they're getting sorted out, let's go out to the show area and get introduced out there. Welcome all to the 5K subscriber show viewing area. The show line is here on the beach just west of the airbase. Now, most of the viewing will be from here, but we also have other cameras set up to catch the action when it's hard to see from the beach. The first of these is the crane cam on top of one of the construction cranes that features so prominently in the Andersen Air Base skyline. The other is set up a ways down the beach there on that little point that you can see. This will give us a chance to see the aircraft up close as they approach the show area. Now, I think we're just about ready to start. Now, Sidekick said that he was going to fly the first pass. He didn't say what he would be flying, though, and I don't see him yet. Now, he also did say to keep your eyes peeled, because you would definitely see him before you heard him. Oh, wait. What's that out there? I think, folks, yes, I think that might be him. He's coming straight at the beach, and he's doing so quickly. What's he flying? Oh, yes, it looks like it's a Vigan, and he's really cooking. Cover your ear, folks. This is going to get noisy. Okay, he's gone straight up. He's up there somewhere. Keep your eye out. I don't think he's gone. Here he comes back down out of the loop. And over the crowd and out of the show area. Okay, well, the show is well and truly started now. So, let me introduce the first group to take center stage. And if you look at the monitors, we've prepared a short video to introduce the YTTS Crew from Yappy Dog's Tactical Training Server.
Hey there, this is Yappy Dog. I've been flying DCS about 3 years. I think these days I'm flying the F5 the most, mostly because I've been doing a lot of training, BFM and ACM, with some friends going through the Air Force manuals. It's been just a ton of fun. When I ground pound, though, it's the Harrier. I just really love flying that Harrier.
Well, I really can't say enough about Yappy Dog. He's been one of the very long-time and loyal and active supporters of the channel. He's flown as a guest pilot a few times, and he's also provided great advice and welcome support when I and the channel really needed it. Now, a while back he started his own server, dedicated to providing a place where players who genuinely wanted to improve their flying could do that in the multiplayer environment, and in that aim he has succeeded. This server is called the Yappy Dog's Tactical Training Server, and if you're genuinely interested in learning to fly better and to have fun doing it, you really need to drop by. The link is in the description.
Sidekick's early narrative style tutorial series really caught my attention when I was getting into DCS. I think his later Iron Bombing series was instrumental in helping me understand the dark arts of putting unguided warheads on foreheads. When he announced this 5K event, I knew I was going to participate. It's really the only way I can show my appreciation for all the work he's freely given.
Now, another member of the YTTS crew today is Draken. Draken also occupies a special place as a supporter of the channel. As anyone who's watched my videos will know, the test range plays a central role in an awful lot of my content, and Draken's target information tracking script plays a central role in the range. It really is the guts of the whole thing, and as many of you know, I'm pretty dedicated to the principles that practice makes perfect and repetition is the mother of retention. But there's no point in practicing if you can't tell how you're doing and figure out how to do it better. And without the target impact tracking script, that would just not be possible. Draken developed the script for his own use, but when I asked him to adapt it so I could use it the way I wanted to, he happily modified and debugged it, and he continues to support the channel by helping anyone who has questions about the target impact tracking script and about scripting in general. Third member of the YTTS crew today is Bagger.
Hi, this is Bagger. I've been flying DCS for about a year and a half. I fly the F5, mainly on Yappy's Tactical Training Server, which has been a great experience learning basic airmanship, formation flying, and air-to-air skills like BFM and ACM. And I also fly the CF-18 Hornet with the Virtual 409 Squadron, which is part of the Virtual Task Force 77 Discord server. So I really appreciate the opportunity to fly in the demos today as a way of just congratulating Ian and saying thank you for the amazing contribution he's made to the community with his videos and with the Sidekick Discord server.
Alright, let's go back out to the beach. Alright folks, you can see the YTTS crew there on the crane cam coming around the headland. And if you look to the right, you should see them coming into view, and there they are. Point out that the team is doing a topside pass, so we get a nice look at those liveries that Bagger has created. This is no small feat, doing a topside pass like this and staying in the same turn and staying in formation the entire time. The formation at this point is being led by Yappy Dog, with Draken on the left and Bagger on the right. The team is leveling out and heading out of the show area. They're going to go around and give us another pass. There's another view from the crane cam. Hey, wait a sec. What's that coming from the right? It looks like a Mirage and an F-14. They're going to make some noise, folks. Hold on. Alright, so let's introduce our next performer, and once again we have a little video prepared.
My name is Robert, I'm from Germany, and I've been actively flying in DCS since October 2021. I primarily fly the Mirage 2000C and the F-15E Strike Eagle. In addition to those two, I regularly fly the A-10A Warthog, the F-15C Eagle, and since the Trick or Threat Challenge in November, the A-4E Skyhawk. For this event, I have decided on the Mirage 2000 since it is versatile, fast and maneuverable. ideal for an air show.
I should point out that Robert, like all of the other pilots in this video today, spent quite a bit of time actually getting ready for this. They all practice formation flying, which if you've ever tried it in DCS, you'll realize that's no joke. And Robert took the time to actually put together a nice little routine for the air show, and so that's what we're going to see next. Okay, so you can see Robert here taking off earlier in a flight led by Griff Nizzle. He's entering the show area and just about ready to start. Let's go back to the beach. All right, folks, look to your right. Here comes Robert in the Mirage 2000. We can see the little camera, pilot camera as well. He's doing a slow roll pass. And now he's taking it up and over the top. And halfway down the other side, he's going to convert this into more of a Cuban 8 than a loop. And picking up speed on the downhill side. And pulling straight up on the other side of that Cuban 8. And let's switch to the crane cam so we can see him a little bit better at the top as he pulls over and heads back down. Alright, here he comes down again, but you can see he's bleeding off speed. I think we're going to get a little bit of a demonstration of the high alpha capabilities of the Mirage 2000. You can see he's pulling it around into a nice tight loop. Got that corner tight. Here he comes, straight at the crowd. And there you can see the Mirage 2000's ability to really point that nose. Goes around a corner pretty quick when it wants to. As well. Something you may want to remember if you ever find yourself in a dogfight with the Mirage 2000. And we'll do one more vertical example. Nice, tightly controlled loop. Keeping the nose even higher, pulling it around in a very tight turn to come back across in front of the crowd. Well, that's a great demonstration of the impressive characteristics of the Mirage 2000. Let's all give Robert a hand as he heads out of town. I'll direct your attention back to the right, folks. If I'm not mistaken, the Yappy Dog crew is back. This time, they're flying the history of iron bombing flight. Starting with a Jug, we got an A-10 and we got an F-18, nicely representing the various generations of iron bombers that we often talk about on the channel. And there really isn't anything like the sound of one of those big radial engines. The Yappy Dog crew, folks, with the history of iron bombing flight. Okay, let's go back to another pre-recorded tape to introduce our next performer. Our next performer performing in the F-14A Tomcat is going to be Griff Nizzle.
Howdy, I go by Griff. I've been playing DCS more seriously now for about the last 3 years. Most time in the Spitfire, the Scooter, and the Tomcat. I've dabbled quite a few others, but those are the three I'm the least completely incompetent in.
Grifnizzle has also been a longtime supporter of the channel, and in fact, He's a bit of a benefactor in that he has contributed financially to the channel in the past and provides me a lot of great feedback and a lot of advice, and has always been very supportive when I needed it, so I really appreciate all of the efforts that he makes to support the channel. He's also, frankly, a hell of a pilot, especially when it comes to flying the F-14, so this was a pretty natural choice for him to fly today. Here he is pulling up on the runway to the lead spot for takeoff. He's leading a little flight I like to call the Slick Jet flight, and we'll meet the other members of that flight in a little while.
I just wanted to say congratulations on the 5,000. It's a treat to be able to celebrate this with you. Your channel has been a source of laughs and information and just good times, and I'm happy to be here for this.
And as we see Griff taking off a little bit earlier, we can see he's also getting ready to come into the show area, so let's go back to the beach. Okay, here's a view from the rock cam as he comes in from the right and sets up for the pass. Looks like he is going to start a roll pass with some flares. Look at that, folks. Poetry in motion. And now he's pulling around into a max rate turn, and you'll notice that as he does that and he loses speed, his wings are going to extend on the F-14. By the time he gets around the end of this turn, they'll be almost fully extended. You also see that the F-14 is capable of turning pretty tightly when it needs to once those wings come out.
Hello, Sidekick, Molok here. I'm flying DCS since 2 years. I fly mostly on 8NC. E4 is my second aircraft, and I fly it among the Red Oak Squadron, which is a fictional attack squadron in which we do some dive bombing, pop-up attacks, jihad missions. And I would be glad to start very soon the F4 here.
Hello, this is TTT speaking, or Torsten, as my real life name is. I've been flying in DCS since the initial Black Shark days, but with 11 breaks in between, and I'm a very casual pilot, so I don't really celebrate the realism details in DCS all the time. I normally fly the A4, the Warbirds, and the F-86 most of the time.
I really like the iron bombing and tutorials videos. That's why I'm very glad to be with you for the show today. I wish you bonne année from France.
I decided to participate in today's show because I love the history of the Mud podcast and all of this iron bombing stuff, and it's just awesome to watch the channel grow. Thank you, bye.
Alright, it looks like the scooter boys are entering the show area. Let's go back to the beach. Well, here's a view from the crane camera. You can see they're approaching, but they're approaching pretty high. So they're going to do a little bit of a dive bombing demonstration. What else would you expect from a pair of scooter pilots? Here's a picture from the rock cam. Looks like they're getting lined up on the beach, putting it off the left side of their cockpits. Molok's obviously judging his time, and there he goes with the roll-in. rolling in on the beach. Let's go see what it looks like from that perspective. Here he comes. So it looks like we are getting bombed with flares, folks. Well, that was a great pass for the iron bombing channel. An excellent example of what the scooter was meant to do. So the Sabres are being flown today by the multinational team of Molok 1 and Highland Spring. I asked the two of them to tell me a little bit about themselves.
I'm Molok 1.
Hi everyone, I'm Highland. I've been flying in DCS for 3 years now.
And Molok, how long have you been flying in DCS, and what's your favorite ride?
Not long enough to be any good, but about 5-ish years at this point, I think. I dip my toes in everything that flies, mostly Mi-24 lately, but early Cold War, MiX 1519, Sabre.
I started off with a squadron, an online squadron, JTF 501. I was with them for a year, and that's where I learned most of my procedural flying. Thanks to them. Great group of guys. If you're looking for a squadron to join, highly recommended. I normally fly the Hornet, but recently I've been getting more and more into Cold War jets. In the demo flight you've seen here, I've been flying the Sabre, for example. And I decided to join today's show to support Sidekick's YouTube channel, the successful 5,000k subscriptions, and to have fun flying online with a bunch of other like-minded DCS fanatics. And it was great fun.
I just thought it would be great fun, and fun it was.
Thanks very much to Sidekick for all your efforts in all of this. It's very, very much appreciated.
Okay, folks, it looks like the Sabre boys are coming straight in. That's the crane cam. That's a look from the rock cam. If you're on the beach, they should be straight out in front of you. Coming straight at us. Oh, and look at that. Beautiful X-brake. Truly a thing of beauty. Very nice. Give a hand to the Sabre boys, Molok and Highland Spring. Oops, folks, don't look now, or rather do. Look to your right, it looks like the YTTS Crew is back, flying another mixed set of aircraft. This time it's the all-Canadian flight with a Mosquito, an F-86, and an F-18. If you've never tried flying formation in a mixed crew like that, you really have no idea how hard it is. The YTTS Crew has been working for a while on their formation flying over on Yappy's server. If that's of interest to you, you should really go over there and check it out. Okay, I think the Sabre boys are lining up for another pass. They're straight out in front of us again. Let's take a look. Okay, is it just me, or does something look like it's wrong with this picture? Let's look at the crane cam and get zoomed in. Holy cow, he's upside down. That's Highland Spring in the lead, upside down. That's Molok 1 glued to his tail underneath. And it looks like they're going to fly the whole pass like that right over the crowd. Well, that's some impressive airmanship right there. Give it up for the Sabre boys, Highland Spring and Molok 1. Folks, looks like we have another new performer arriving. Let's let him introduce himself.
My name is Buur, or Thomas, as you want to say. I'm now flying since maybe 5-6 years in DCS. Started with the Huey, the helicopter, because I like it from old films. Then later to the A10. Most of us then switched to mostly Harrier and of course the great A4. At the moment I mostly fly the A4 because it's a very great reliable plane. It's a lot of fun to fly. Why I decided to participate today's show. For me, your channel is one of the greatest iron bombing channels for DCS and get the best information for how to bomb in DCS, and so it was a pleasure for me to promote you with your 5K subscriber fly past.
Thanks, Buur, for those sentiments and for doing such a great job today. I think Buur out at the show is just about ready to start, so let's go back to the beach. Alright, here's a view from the crane cam as a Harrier flown by Buur is approaching from the right-hand side. This is a view from the rock cam. You can see that Buur is pulling the absolutely signature Harrier move, which is to fly nice and slow. Very controlled approach as he comes in past the rocks out there, starting to descend and slowing up even more. Looks like he's coming to get a good look at you folks and let you get a good look at him. Now, if you've never flown the Harrier in DCS, you don't know just how unique an experience flying like this is. Making the transition from forward flight to this kind of hovered flight, where you literally turn on a dime, takes a bit of practice that Buur has obviously been practicing. And now he's pulling the jets to the back and heading out of town. But wait folks, we're not done with the Harrier portion of the show yet. If you look straight out, you will see that we're being approached by another Harrier this time, flown by Draken. He's going to come in and do a hover for you as well, and then he's also going to give you a little bit of a light show. So keep your eyes open. And we have the Draken cam up so you can see what it looks like from inside the Harrier. As you can see, the visibility is pretty good up there. As Draken slowly works his way in, he's got the gear down now. He's keeping it pretty steady. Boy, the Harrier really earns its name when you see it from that direction, doesn't it? It's just like a hovering bird of prey there. Kind of makes you want to find somewhere to go and hide. Alright, we pulled back a little, so we want to get a good view of the light show that Draken is going to put on here in a couple of minutes once he gets close enough to the beach. I should point out too that we're all just about to find out why the Harrier has a reputation for being one of the loudest jets in DCS. It's going to get noisy here, folks, when Draken gets overhead. I'll catch you on the other side. Yep, there are the bombs, folks. Let's pull back a little so we can see them hit the water. Look at that. straight line right down in front of the crowd. Alright folks, give Draken a hand. That's the last time we'll see him solo today. Alright, before we get started with the next pass, we have just one more pilot to introduce. This is Frenchy, flying in the F5. Frenchie's reasonably new to the channel, and actually reasonably new to DCS, although he's been flying in VTOL VR for quite some time. I have to say it took a bit of courage for Frenchy to join this group. There was a lot going on, especially when you're trying to learn DCS multiplayer at the same time. He did a fine job, and we were really glad that he decided to show up. Thanks, Frenchy. Okay, you can see Frenchy taking off there as part of the slick jet flight led by Griff Nizzle, and they're coming into the show area, so let's go back to the beach. Alright folks, look to the right, you can see the rock cam. Following these guys in, you can feel the power in this flight. Powerful aircraft in this flight. We're going to see how powerful in a minute when they decide to go straight vertical over the beach. Okay, the groups are getting themselves sorted out for the final fly past. But first we're going to have one more group pass. The Yappy Dog Tactical Training Server crew has reassembled. In front we have Bagger flying the CF-18 with a very distinctive Canada 150 paint scheme. He is followed by two Harriers in YTTS livery, flown by Yappy Dog and Draken. We're going to put on a little light show of the moon here in a sec, folks. Keep your eyes peeled. Okay, folks, while the groups go out and get themselves assembled for the final fly past, I just wanted to take a moment to say again how much I appreciate the support from the pilots here today, from the regular denizens of my Discord server, and from all of my subscribers, particularly those who take the time to like the videos and leave thoughtful comments. It's often said, but is always true, that this channel would, quite literally, be nothing without all of you. Putting this show together has been a labor of love, but it has been well worth it, and we will definitely be making this a regular event. I look forward to seeing all of you at the next one. I think we're ready to start the final fly pass, so let's go back to the beach. Alright folks, the groups are all assembled and coming down the beach, one after the other in a giant parade. First of all, we have Group 1, with Bagger flying the CF-18. Followed by Yappy Dog and Draken. It looks like they've grabbed Buur to complete the diamond. Next up, coming from the right, is the power and grace of the slick jet flight, led by Griff Nizzle, with Robert and Frenchy following. Coming in pretty close to the beach. First of all, we have the aerobatic team of the Sabre Boys, Highland Spring and Molok 1 flying the F-86. Actually, it's Molok and TTT. With them all a hand, folks, they put on a great show. Alright, folks, the show is almost over, but we're going to leave the last word to Sidekick. Okay, we can see from the crane cam that Sidekick is out there and starting his run. He's down behind the headland. Here he comes, seen on the rock cam. He's coming around the headland. He's staying out a little ways, I think. He's going, yes, he's doing a pop-up. Of course, it's the Iron Bombing Channel. Look at that. He's flying the forever free A4. He's rolling in at the top. No doubt he is pulling the lift vector to the target, which in this case looks like it's us. Look at this. He must be serious. He's got the speed brakes out. Here he comes, folks. You have officially been Iron Bomb. Great. Just taking it around one more time. Back straight turn in that A4. Pulling it around and pulling it around. And coming back over the beach for one last pass of the 5,000 subscribers celebration air show. Thanks for coming. Hope you enjoyed that. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to videos, folks. And this is going to be Sidekick. Signing off.